Well, many of you know, I'm not a huge prospector anymore. I just like to pick up a couple cheap young guns heading into the season in hopes that they'll take off. Today, I'm going to share with you my top 10 young guns under $10 to pick up heading into the 2024-2025 season. Let's get into it. What's going on YouTube? Flipping Out SC coming at you with a brand new video. And in today's video, I'm going over what I believe to be some of the best value young guns under $10 to pick up heading into the 2024-25 season. I'm going to have everything in here, from young guns under $1 all the way up to $10 and everything in between. So no matter your budget, there'll be something in here for you. And one note before we dive into it is, again, this is not financial advice and I don't have a crystal ball to see in the future. So please buy at your own risk. In the first spot, we have a name you should be familiar with from a previous video, Alex Barre-Boulet. And before you ask any questions, no, I don't think I'll be buying him. I can't be sure. If this doesn't make sense to you, just watch this video up here. It'll all make sense after that. But anyways, with his recent move to the Montreal Canadiens, I still think that Barre-Boulet could be a decent play. I mean, he's beloved there from his days back in the COMC. He's shown he can produce in the juniors and the AHL. He just hasn't had a real great shot in the NHL because he's been stuck down in the lineup in the Syracuse Crunch for the Tampa Bay Lightning. If he can make it on a younger, less crowded Montreal team, his young guns could be in line for a real big boost. Barre-Boulet's current young guns price on COMC is 40 cents. In the number 2 spot, we have another player who I mentioned in an earlier video as well, Jet Greaves. Greaves had an awesome AHL season last year, and he really showed up in the playoffs. Over 46 regular season games last year, Jet had a 2.93 GAA and a 910 save percentage. He even improved on that in the playoffs with a 2.1 GAA and a 926 save percentage. With how Merzlikins and Tarasov played last year in Columbus, it may be Jet time before we know it. And even if he doesn't make the lineup this year, he's still quite young at 23 years old in terms of goalies, so give the guy some time. As I also stated in an earlier video with Jet being Canadian and how bleak Canada's goaltending situation looks right now, Jet could be a national team player before we know it if he keeps up the solid play. Jet's young guns on COMC currently cost $1. In the number 3 spot, we have a player who tore up the AHL last season with 43 goals in 50 games. Samuel Fagemo. I won't lie, that before I did my research for this video, I had heard of Fagemo very little. But when I looked into the AHL scoring leaders and saw his 43 goals in 50 games, I knew I had to include him on this list. It's well known that collectors love guys who put the puck in the back of the net way more than assist guys, and Fagemo seems to know a thing or two about that. Fagemo's young guns is still quite cheap and could be a worthwhile gamble. Currently, you can find Fagemo's young guns at COMC for $1.04. In the number 4 spot, we have a player that I'm betting on having a really big season next year, Shane Pinto. After being suspended for half the season last year for getting caught proxy betting, Shane really struggled to get back to form. He only registered 27 points in the 41 games he did end up playing. However, the Senators in general had a really rough year last year with many injuries to key players that kept them from performing their best. I believe that next year they'll have a bounce back season, and Pinto could be a real big part of that. Currently, one can find Pinto's young guns on COMC for $2.93. In our number 5 spot, we've got a player who I've been watching fairly closely for the past few years and picking up some of his cards here and there, Jake Neighbors. Neighbors has played fairly well in the past, but look for a big breakout this year as he got an upgrade and is slotted on the first line, beside Buchnevich and Kyrou. Now if you can't score with those two on your line, I think we've got some issues. Aside from this, he's also slotted in on the first power play unit. In 77 games with the Blues last year, Neighbors only notched 38 points, but look for a big jump in production with his boost to his line mates and more opportunity on the horizon. Neighbors' young guns can currently be found on COMC for $3.48. If we look back at Shane Pinto in the number 4 spot, we've got another player from the same team in number 6, Josh Norris. Norris has been dealing with a nagging shoulder injury for the past 2 seasons. He's hit the LTIR 3 times over the past 2 years, so please tread very lightly with this play. Having only played in 8 games in all of 22-23, Norris returned last year for 50 games, but got injured near the end of the season, only to have another shoulder surgery. Like Pinto, Norris struggled to return to form, only notching 14 goals and 30 points in the 50 games he did play this year. I have faith that the Senators as a whole can right the ship this year, barring that they can mostly stay healthy, and that Norris, like Pinto, can return to the form they once had. As they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. Josh Norris young guns can currently be found on COMC for $4.50. The 7th player on this list is a player who's been spoken highly of for years now, but as per many, just hasn't had the opportunity to break out. and that's Cole Perfetti. Perfetti has a huge opportunity to gain a ton of playing time this year with the departure of Sean Monahan. That second line center position is up for grabs and is there for the taking. Last year, Perfetti was scratched a handful of times and only played in 70 games. However, he did notch 36 points within those 70 games. He did also only average 13 minutes of time on ice per game. So if he can up his time on ice this year and gain a couple opportunities with the first line power play unit, look for Perfetti to break out and become a star. Currently, you can find Perfetti's Young Guns on COMC for $5.85. Player number 8 is super high on my list for the same reasons as the Senators players. Like I said, a rising tide lifts all boats, and with the arrival of Macklin Celebrini and hopefully Will Smith, William Eklund should see a nice boost to his line mates along with his productivity. Eklund was the only glimmer of hope on a team that basically had none last season. On his first full season with the big club, having only played 17 games in the previous 2 years, he notched 45 points in 80 games. Good for second on the team in scoring. And like I say, with an upgrade to his line mates, it's very possible we see a big increase to his productivity this year. Eklund's Young Guns is currently available on COMC for $6.50. At number 9, we have yet another player who was featured in a past video. Dustin Wolf. If you weren't aware before this, I'm a huge Flames fan, and I'm super stoked to see what Wolf can do this upcoming season. With the departure of Markstrom, the crease should be mostly Wolfie's to lose. He may start backing up Vladar, but with a few big performances, he could be the number one option before we know it. Wolf's Young Guns is currently on COMC for $8.20. And last, but certainly not least, we have a player who comes in right under that $10 mark, in Jack Quinn. Quinn suffered an Achilles injury in off-season training right before the season started last year and didn't make his season debut until the middle of December. Sadly, he only played just over a month before he got injured again at the end of January. And finally, he returned to action 2 months later to finish off the season in March. In total, he only played in 27 games, but impressively, over those 27 games, he notched 9 goals and 10 assists. With how broken up his season was, the fact that he was able to produce without being in what I would call a rhythm was super impressive. I have high hopes for Quinn heading into the 2024-25 season, where he can hopefully put a full season together and really find his game. One additional positive for Quinn's outlook is the recent departure of Jeff Skinner from the Sabres. This should free up space on the right wing, resulting in more opportunities for Quinn to shine. One can currently find Quinn's Young Guns on COMC for $9.70. And there you have it, the 10 Young Guns under $10 I'm looking to pick up heading into the 2024-2025 season. Let me know what you think of the list in the comments. Is there anyone I missed? Or who will you be picking up? I love to read the comments on these videos, and I try my best to respond to each and every one of them. While you're down there, if you could hit that like and subscribe button, that'd be a huge help as well. We are so close to 400 subs and giving away the great Jerry G. Rosado. But until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.